What's up, you guys? Mighty Mike here, and you are listening to the Mighty Mike Show, where we teach you all about real estate investing and just living the good life, making some money, and building your long-term wealth. Today's guest, I'm really excited. Got to meet her at an event recently, and I'm super excited to bring her on, and she's just going to share some major value with you. So you guys don't want to go anywhere. So the big question is this. How do you find the home of your dreams around the people and places you love in the beautiful city of Orlando, Florida? That is the question, and this show will give you the answer. My name is Mighty Mike, and you are listening to the Mighty Mike Show. What is up, you guys? Super excited. I have none other than the wonderful and lovely Ashely Kehr. She lives in Buffalo, New York, on a dairy farm with her 3 boys. Ashely is the co-host of the Real Estate Rookie podcast with BiggerPockets. She helps newbies figure out actionable steps to get their very first deal. Ashely, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I think it's pretty awesome you asked me to be on the show before we even met each other in person.
That's true. That's true. Well, you know what? I listened to your podcast. You guys are doing some cool stuff. When I first heard Tony's name, I was like, she's with Tony Robbins, and I was like, oh, Robbins' son.
That's so common that people think that at first.
But he's just as cool.
Oh, just yeah. Cool. Even more cool. Yeah.
Even more cool. Love it. Love it. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. I had a lot of fun hanging out. Fort Lauderdale was a great event. It's kind of actually sparked me to just like go on. I have like a whole series of real estate events that I have planned for the rest of the year, actually. So it was exciting.
That's pretty much what my life has been like the past 2 months. So I can relate.
Yeah. I heard you were down in New Orleans. I'm sorry to have missed that one.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was really great. The BiggerPockets conference. So everybody's anxiously awaiting to see where the 2022 conference will be.
In Orlando. Nah, some are cool. Some are cool.
Yeah, you don't want to have it in your own time. You want to be able to go somewhere.
I'm like, I'm in Orlando, not in Orlando. So, okay, cool. Well, hey, listen, I know most people, especially real estate investors, hopefully have heard of you, heard of the podcast. It's what, number 8 now on iTunes?
Yeah, we actually this morning was number 6 in the business category. So I'm sure it's probably changed again since I last looked, but super exciting for us.
That is so exciting. That is so cool. Someone who got me started in this whole world in the very beginning was John Lee Dumas, and he, the big podcasting guy, and he talked about that, like track where you are, and that should be your measurement for success. Don't worry about haters and comments and stuff. Just look and see where you're at on the charts, and that you're actually providing value to people. Like, I love what you're doing with the Rookie podcast. A lot of people say, well, I don't want to name it the Rookie podcast because I don't want people to think I'm a rookie, but you guys are like super humble. You guys are like super, the education that you get on there. The guy that's doing the Airbnb arbitrage. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was like a master class. I was like taking notes. The guy for a minute, I thought he was just going to kind of go surface level. That's what it seemed like a minute when he was talking about the contracts, but then he like broke them down each one. And I was like mind blown.
Yeah, that was definitely an awesome episode talking about the arbitrage. It did very well. So we're always looking for guests. So if anybody is a rookie investor and they want to come on to our show, you can actually apply at biggerpockets.com/guest too.
Very cool. Very cool. Definitely going to do that myself, and definitely going to encourage everybody to go do that. We're all somewhere. So you just start wherever you are, and then, and you just keep going, and that's how you learn. So,
and I think everybody is a rookie at something. So even if you're an experienced investor in one area, you're still a rookie in other areas. So for me, for example, I invest in Buffalo, New York, and I do buy and hold rentals. I consider myself an expert in this market at that strategy. Mm-hmm. But you pull me out, you put me in another market doing short-term rentals. I am a complete rookie at that.
So I love it. I love everything. I heard Buffalo, New York, and I was like, man, so she's freezing most of the year. Okay, got that. And so, But why don't you just take a minute for those that don't know who you are and about your show, and just tell us a little bit about you and your personal life. Start.
Yeah, sure. So I have 3 little boys. I'm married. We live on a dairy farm. My husband owns the farm. And I started investing in 2014. I bought my first duplex with a partner. And from there, I worked as a property manager. I built 2 property management companies. I started building my own portfolio. I have 2 partners. Started getting my family in investing, partnered with my sister on a deal, partnered with my brother on a deal. And since then, I've quit property management. I hired a third party to kind of take that over. And now I'm just focused full time on real estate investing.
Oh, that is so cool. Well, you're really tearing it up, and your network. I'm a firm believer that your network really is your net worth. Like the more people you know, the more knowledge you have, the more people who will hold you accountable to certain goals. And so I love it. I love it. And so one of the things I like to do in the very beginning of the show with this like new format, and it's basically I want to know the good, bad, and the ugly. Okay. So don't beat me up for this question. Okay. But you've done some really cool things. Tell me about your worst deal that you've ever done. Like if you could rewind time and take it back, tell us about that one.
That's such a hard question for me because I haven't had like a complete flop, but I've had like headache properties. But
Mhm.
one thing I'm a huge component or like an
Proponent.
advocate for, yeah, is
Yeah.
that you always have multiple exit strategies. So when that deal isn't going as well, that you can get out of that and it turns out to not be that bad.
Yeah.
So I had bought this property in a portfolio deal. I bought it for $17,000. It was a duplex, and the owner was only going to give me the other properties if I took this one. This property was just headache after headache, and the tenants even in it, I just tons of turnover, not paying rent, trashing the place. I had to remodel it twice in 2 years, and I eventually sold it. So I listed it, I think it was 6 months ago. And now is the time to get rid of those headache, awful properties.
Yeah.
And so I bought it for 17,000. I probably dumped around 5 grand into it over the years, and I sold it for 60,000. So
Okay.
it turned into something that was good, but
Yeah.
looking back, like that property, I want to stay away from those headache properties, even though it was a cheap property
Mhm.
and it did cash flow when a tenant did pay rent. But
Yeah.
it wasn't worth it to go through all that stress and to have to deal with it. So I think that was a lesson learned, that just because it's a great deal, that I would rather make a little bit less money on a property that isn't going to be a headache.
I love that. And here's a crazy thing. Like I was interviewing someone, I think it might've been, well, anyways, I think it was Mark Monroe, but he was saying like that he bought this really like this condo that just tanked.
Mhm.
And what seems to be a theme, and you could tell me, Ashely, what you think, it seems to be a theme. Like if you buy it and you realize I'm screwed on this deal, deal is tanked. The best thing to do almost every time is just to hold it
Mhm.
and just take a ride.
Ride it out.
Right? Because the worst case scenario, you sell it, you just try to get out from underneath it or whatever, and then you lost. You already lost. But if you just hold on for the ride, you end up finding another opportunity, maybe being able to sell it, maybe be able to take some of the equity, buy something else that ended up making you a bunch of money. And so, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's what happened in this. I held on to it for 2.5 years, and then just I saw the opportunity in this market to sell it, and selling it for 60 when I've only had, 23,000 into it. It ended up being a great deal, but it was
Yeah.
a lot of work and a lot of patience because I never wanted that property in the first place, but that was the only way to get the other properties. He wanted to sell them all.
See, so it wasn't a means to an end. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing too is like, and I think I already know the answer to this one here, but tell us about your greatest experience in real estate investing.
So my greatest experience is a 4-unit building that I completely rehabbed with a partner who knew rehab. I took him on because this was my first full gut rehab, and I bought the property for $20,000. I rehabbed it and put in about 70,000 into it. So 90,000 all in, and it appraised for $220,000. So that was definitely my best deal right there. It's a mixed use building, has residential income upstairs, commercial income downstairs. And then I also put a liquor store in the building. So that was my best deal. But what's really exciting me right now and what I'm becoming passionate about is campgrounds.
Yeah. So I remember you saying that. I didn't get a chance to ask you about that. What is it about campgrounds that, I mean, like, that would make you want to go into campgrounds from, traditional real estate? Why, like, for example, why not just do Airbnb or multifamily like apartment complexes?
Well, I spent about 7 years managing an apartment complex, two of them, 240 units. And
Okay.
it's boring to me now. I like to build something, learn something, and then hand it off. So
Okay.
I could, it just doesn't excite me and interest me anymore. Where a campground, there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of moving pieces, and there's a lot for me to learn. So that's why I am excited about that. But I also looked at self-storage, mobile home parks, which I don't know a ton about either. And I started looking at all three of these different ones. And it was just one conversation that I had at one of the events I attended with somebody. And I was telling them, how I felt kind of stuck and I didn't have clarity where I wanted to go and what my path was. And I was, putting in offers and all these different things. So later on, I started telling them about this campground that I wanted to offer on. And they were like, that's it. That's the
Do it.
one. I was like, yeah, I know, I'm putting an offer. And they're like, no, that's your strategy. The way you talked about that, you just spewed out all these random facts about it. And you were so excited and just like,
Yeah.
I could feel your energy. That is what you
Yeah.
had to go over. So that was a huge moment of clarity for me. And it's something funny too, is that this week I've just been so energized. And I usually get like that after conferences and events. But I think a lot of it has to do that I am focused and that clarity that I know exactly where I want to go, what I'm going to focus on, and what I want to do. So,
Okay.
and
Well,
awesome.
that's what I got too, actually. After this millionaire mindset, I guess, is what it's called. I was just like, I came home and then I actually went to his coaching, Steve's coaching. And I was just sitting there thinking, like, I'm a high I. We're talking about the disc profile.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm in a high I. And I've been so focused on like these 10 different things. And I was just like, what am I doing? Like, let me focus on my show. Cause that's actually what lights my fire, and like my spark. And so, yeah, I mean, we need other people. Like, even on the health space, they talk about this. You need friends, you need a sounding board, I guess, to like, dial things in. And so I love that you have that self-awareness of like, and that you go to the conferences, you go to different places and get that feedback. I think that it's pretty cool. Like Brandon, Brandon Turner with his mobile home parks and Open Door and all that. And so you have a pretty cool resource to be able to kind of go like, to kind of leverage in that way too, right?
Yeah. So I've been very fortunate to become friends with a great network of real estate investors. And in a couple of weeks, we're all meeting up again in California. And this will be our 6th time getting together this year. But it just fires me up. And I love each and every one of them. And they're all so unique and bring something different to the table. And it just even if we don't plan it as a mastermind or an event, it feels like that because we stay up until 2 a.m. talking deals or real estate.
Yeah.
AJ Osborne, when we were at the BiggerPockets conference, was analyzing self-storage deals with me that I had been looking at, in the hot tub. Like it's just so awesome to be in a group of people that you can network with and connect with. And I always like it when I feel like I am the least successful in the room and that I'm surrounded by smarter people and people that are doing bigger things. And I think with that group, everybody is so high level that I'm just absorbing as much as I can.
That's awesome. You know what? I think, I mean, what you're saying about like, that's exactly what happened at the event, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's my people. Like, that's the other revelation I had this last weekend is like, I work with a lot of different industries, the legal industry, real estate industry, marketing industry, right? And so being with all of the real estate investors and talking and just being humans, right?
Yeah.
Like being ourselves, I realized like, these are my people, it's like, so, and it's a cool industry. It's a really cool way to build wealth and just to kind of, make connections that'll last for a lifetime. And so,
Yeah. And I think really figuring out what's the best way for you to learn, like looking at yourself and seeing what makes you thrive, how you like to learn. So I've taken a lot of time in personal development, kind of like figuring myself out. And it's those midnight, 1 a.m. conversations for me while we're out dancing with a DJ or something that I am really learning the most. I am not good at just sitting. So sitting through a whole conference, I will absorb some information, but my mind is always going and I'm always wanting to move, that it's really hard for me to absorb knowledge that way. So it's the conversations that are happening, while we're, doing something besides just sitting there.
Yeah. And I'm the same way. And the main reason why for me is like, I'm quick to action, right? Like Ashely, like, I feel like when I learned something, I learned so much at that event that as I was learning it, I was like, I got to go do it, and like, if I don't go do it, it's never going to happen. That's where my mind's at. So I'm like taking notes like a madman, or on my phone, taking notes, because that's what you have to do in order to implement it. I think there's like a 5-second rule. Like if you don't do something about it, or even just take a note about something, like it's chances of you doing it, like drop like 75% or something like that. So
at the end of any event I go to, that at the end of the day, so even if it's before dinner or something, I write down like the key things I learned that day, because or else they will just be gone and I will forget. So I try to recap every day at the end, and that's been super beneficial to me.
And people too, right? Like, so like I met so many cool, you're like this, this is like a valuable relationship, not just like I'm going to make money on them or I'm going to have them on my show. Right.
Yeah.
But like, I want to know this human like further into my life. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to name drop, but like Bobby in Colorado, like, I don't know.
Bobby. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how I would ever get anything from Bobby. Like, he's a great guy, great professional and stuff like that, but just a human, just a cool human,
Yeah. He is.
Good stuff. So listen, there's I'm thinking I'm going to call it the Mighty Flex segment. You're going to flex your big Ashely muscles today. And you're gonna tell us the ins and outs. I used to call it the rapid fire round on another show, but we're working on that. But we're just gonna throw them at you and see how you run your business and what tools you use. And if there's anything that you can't answer because it's exclusive, then you just let me know that too.
Okay.
All right. So Ashely, what is your favorite tactic for finding deals?
It is word of mouth referrals. So I tell everybody that what I am looking for and what I am doing. So I had a podcast released recently on the BiggerPockets on Brandon and David's show. And I said on there that I was looking for campgrounds. I've gotten so many messages of people sending me deals that I'm overwhelmed right now. I actually hired an assistant who started yesterday, which worked out to be super convenient. And I now have her like going through the leads for me and kind of organizing them. But 50% of the portfolio I have now has been from word of mouth, of people just contacting me and saying, I know somebody that's selling their property, or I am selling my property. And by no means, you should not rely solely on that as your only way to source deals. You shouldn't be sitting at home waiting for somebody to call you. But if you're constantly talking about what you do, I think that you will find that those opportunities will be presented to you. So that's my favorite way, is getting a random phone call. I had one from a guy I went to high school with, and he does my landscaping. And he called me the one day, and he's just, hey, do you know anything about mobile home parks? Like, is that a good investment? And my first thought was like, ugh, you found a mobile home park deal. I'm so jealous. I'll help you in any way. And he was like, so I was talking to this guy that wants to sell his, and I thought of you. Can I give him your phone number? And I was like, yes, please do. Yeah. So I have it under contract now, but Just little
Yeah.
things like that they get me the most excited.
That is so cool. That is so cool. So like for someone that doesn't have BiggerPockets show, to mention it. So some things like events, right? Going to conferences, going to meetup groups is like a huge thing in the real estate
Yeah,
space.
and not even like most of all of the word of mouth, really, except
Yeah.
for these campground leads. All of the ones before that and the deals I've actually closed on were from friends and family and people in my
Oh,
area.
wow.
And not
Yeah.
even other investors, just
Oh,
people
just
that,
people.
I know that I invest and they heard somebody talking about it and know that I'm always looking to buy. So yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with the podcast or my social media. I've never closed on a deal or really even offered on a deal that I've gotten from any of those platforms. But hopefully that will change with these campground deals. But
That's what I
yeah,
was
it was
gonna
all just
say is like,
friends and family.
that's what I was gonna say. If guys, if you're watching right now, I know some people watching. You comment below any questions you have for Ashely. I got a few more here before we close up, but definitely comment them, put them up on here. And if you're not a member of the group, go to mightymeetup.com. You can join the group exclusive, so you can see these interviews live. And so let's dive into a little bit. What I was gonna say is, if anybody is watching this, like, I want to tell people about a deal, and you're working on a deal or something, I'd love to have them as a guest and come on and actually talk about your journey in real estate as well. And Ashely, everyone starts somewhere. So my question now to you is like, if somebody's thinking about getting involved in real estate, investing, what would you say is the best way to get started?
So I believe that you can become a real estate investor without quitting your job right away. So what I actually did quit my job, but I didn't know I wanted to be a real estate investor. But I started working as a property manager, and I got paid to get all of this experience and to learn all things about managing a property. And then I also helped with acquisitions. I helped with financing. I got paid to learn all of this stuff, and that definitely helped me get the confidence and become comfortable with investing myself. So there are so many jobs out there for getting experience with real estate investing. So you could work your full-time job, and maybe on Sundays you show apartments, you become a leasing agent.
Mm.
Maybe you fulfill maintenance requests. I had met the sheriff before that when he was in college, he would fulfill maintenance requests for a landlord in the area in between his classes. He would get an email with the list of maintenance requests, and then he would go and do them, whenever he could in between classes. So I think there's a lot of ways to gain experience and get paid.
Yeah. Yeah. Anytime you can learn and grow and get paid for it, you're winning.
And I think you'll find that the people that you end up working for will act as a mentor to you too.
Yeah, because there's one thing I heard a lot of people said it actually is, go volunteer.
Yeah.
Go tell someone who is very high achieving, high energy, seems someone you like, a mentor, and just go tell them like, hey, I'll volunteer for you. I'll find you deals, show me how to do it. And just like donate like a month, right?
Yeah. And I think one of the things that's important with that too, instead of asking like, how can I help you? I'll work for free. I'll do whatever. That's work for the investor to try to have to come up with something for you to do and to train you. So I would approach the person with what you can offer them and what you would do for them. So they don't even have to think of that or put things together. Cause that's like one of my weaknesses. I'm not good at training and onboarding. So if somebody offers me their help, I don't even know where to begin to like show them what I need done.
Right. It's like, okay, so now I have a part-time job.
What you can do for me, and then I'll say yes or no.
Now I have a part-time job teaching you how to do real estate. Great. I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. So there's a lot of different stuff we could go picking from your brain. That on the show though, I like to really get into the mindset and the what has made Ashely like become this great investor, because you've done some pretty cool things already. And hanging out with you, it's clear that you're a very genuine person. And
Thank you.
I'm just excited to have you here and extract the knowledge. And so if anyone really wants the details of how to be an investor, go check out the podcast, the Rookie Real Estate podcast with BiggerPockets. But Ashely, what is the greatest advice you've ever received?
But I could go with something recently, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
And this is part of my whole clarity and mindset shift, I guess. But
Okay.
I was in New Orleans in a pizza place at 1 a.m. and I had a couple that I had kind of become friends with from the internet. He had been a guest on the show, and I'd met them a couple times in person. They came up to me and said, after we heard you speak at the conference, we think that we know something about you that you don't. I was like, okay, what? And they said, you are actually an integrator, but you think you're an innovator. And that was true. I thought that I was an innovator. And then they described to me that the reason I had that mind block was because I'm an integrator that can innovate if I need to, but I really am like true heartedly an integrator. And I had this limited mindset belief that the innovator just thought of all the ideas and then the integrator actually took the pieces and put them together. But I associated that with work, like the integrator did all the work. And I've realized that no, the integrator still like just tells where the pieces go and other people are putting the pieces together. So that really was I guess a mind-blowing conversation for me, but has really helped with my clarity. And I have this huge whiteboard right now that's sitting in my dining room of just like my whole org chart of my business and where I'm going to take it. And it feels awesome. So just like we had been talking about those 1 a.m. conversations.
I love it. I love it. I think you're on the right track with that for sure, because understanding what to focus on, right? Like you said, you're an innovator. You can innovate, but you're an integrator. But now it helps you like dial in your focus. And so that's the biggest thing. Like me knowing that like I'm a high I, like it's just my personality and then what I love to do. And then, I'm not going to get into my whole thing, but I just realized like I was wasting a lot of time trying to help other people and make other people happy while not really using my best strengths.
Yeah.
In many ways. And so I thought, okay, I'm just, I know where to put my focus in. And so love it. Good stuff. So Ashely, let's dive into the next little portion here, the last segment of the show. And if you were dropped, and there's been different versions of this question, but I love it. If you were dropped in the middle of nowhere with a cell phone and just your contacts, okay, let's say $100 just because they made a show about it. What would you do to start a new business? Would you start in real estate, or is there something else right away that you would think to make money?
So are there other people on this island? Or?
Yeah, you still have all your same contacts.
Okay.
You just can't, you just don't have really any
I don't
money.
have my business or real estate.
No. And you have knowledge.
Yeah. I would house hack first.
Uh-huh.
I would do that. And then I would probably open a liquor store to build some capital. And then I would probably go back into real estate investing.
I love the liquor store thing because you just don't hear that. I mean, in real estate investing, you just don't hear that. I'd be like, you know what? I'd open a liquor store. Forget about it. I'll make me some money right now. I love that. So right now, is that working really well for you? Liquor store?
It's been definitely a huge learning experience, and it's my first time ever building out kind of like having employees and a manager and a supervisor, because with real estate investing, I always did that on my own or with partners, and we never had employees. So it's definitely been interesting to figure out that whole dynamic.
Inventory.
Yeah, inventory. And another thing too is I honestly can't even tell you that much about the liquor store business because we spent so much time making sure that we weren't in the day to day. So
you hired somebody who knew what they were doing.
Yeah. So we hired a person that had managed bars in the area to come in. She knows liquor. She knows how to manage employees, and she has completely taken it over for us, and it's worked out really well. And then we have a supervisor that just oversees her part-time if she needs anything. But one thing I did not want was I did not want to get a phone call and say, so-and-so isn't coming into work today. We need you to work the cash register. And I just don't want to live my life that way. And I'm sure I'd probably actually have fun, like talking to people. But I
You
don't even
would.
know anything about wine or liquor. Like I would be the worst employee there too.
But you would be like, let's try that. I'll try it with you. You would be the best person, actually.
I'd open it up.
I don't think you can do that, actually, if you own it.
No,
Right?
you can't. Yeah.
That's good stuff. Well, hey, listen, I appreciate you coming on. What is the best way that everybody can connect with you, like on a large scale? Probably not your cell phone.
Yeah, the best way is on Instagram at Wealth from Rentals. And then you can also join the Real Estate Rookie Facebook page, and then check us out on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, Real Estate Rookie.
Yes, it is awesome. And definitely check out her podcast. Check out the BiggerPockets podcast with Brandon Turner. You guys are just really putting out some amazing content. It's unbeatable. And you know what? I feel like YouTube is kind of a voting platform, like you could see, because, you look at your guys' shows and they just get like hundreds of thousands of views. Whereas, the one right below it has 17,000 views. It's like, there's a reason why. When you put in the work, you put in the effort, it shows. And so thank you so much for coming on. What is your parting piece of advice for everybody?
I'm sure everybody probably hears this a lot, but it's just take action. And even if that's one little step, such as emailing lenders, something to get you closer to getting that first or next deal. So I'll follow up with a little tip to finding a lender is just write out an email that is pretty generic and state what you want to do, and not asking for, I need this loan or I want this loan. Asking or telling them what you want to do and asking what they have to offer keeps it open so that they can give you different options. Maybe there's things you don't even know about, but you just take that email and you copy and paste it into, in 10 different emails to 10 different lenders, blast it out, and then see who responds quickly to you. And then you have it all in writing too, what the different options are, and you can compare them. I don't think there's any need to go in and physically sit down with lenders. I think it's a waste of time. And this way you get all the information concise in an email for you.
Value. No, really. I mean, I could spend an hour with you. Like, I kind of want to have you on once a month now. So much value, Ashely. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So much. Take care. God bless. And you guys catch us on the next one. Definitely. Those of you guys that are watching right now in the group, I'm gonna go check and see if you're following Ashely. You guys got to go follow her. She's amazing.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for having me.
Take care, Ashely. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Thank you for watching another episode of the Mighty Mike Show. Tune in Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Leave a comment below and let me know what you would like to hear discussed on the Mighty Mike Show. See you next time. Mighty Mike helps you buy it right and sell without a fight.